Hi, and welcome to our video presentation of our serious game, The Final Judgment. We'll start by showing some highlights from the game, followed by a breakdown of how we employed serious game design principles throughout development. In The Final Judgment, you play as a lawyer seeking to hold a chemical company responsible for their pollution of a small town's water supply. You're the underdog, so we're going to need to talk to some of the residents in order to get a clearer picture. Your choices matter in The Final Judgment. Whatever you choose will affect the outcome of the game, and could mean the difference between success or failure at trial. Now that we've spoken to some witnesses, let's investigate along the lakeshore. You're bound to find some evidence that you could bring to trial. Here's our expert witness, who educates the player about the dangers of PFAS and the mechanisms by which these chemicals end up in the environment. Players learn about these chemicals after collecting their own evidence, so any knowledge learned here is a direct result of the player's own actions. Finally, we go to trial. Again, choices here matter, as the wrong decision will give the defense team an opening to destroy your case against them. Now, let's take a look at how serious game design principles informed our decision-making throughout development. Like any game the team would have designed, serious or otherwise, the final judgment sought to employ flow theory in order to engage our player base. Giving the player clear goals from the get-go was one of our most important design goals. From the moment the player starts the game, an NPC assistant tells users where they are and what they need to do. Playtesters were not confused about what to do, and intuitively navigated around the levels without outside help. Another method of attaining flow is to immerse the player. When in this state, a player can lose their sense of time and consciousness as they take on the role of the game's protagonist. In our case, we achieved this by building a believable world with a large cast of characters, each with their own backstories, motivations, and worries. We also set the game over several levels that the player can explore. Players can venture down Main Street in Minarai, both in the morning and evening, gather evidence in the backwoods outside the chemical plant, and walk in the shoes of a real lawyer in a courtroom. By opening up the world to the player, the game allows its users to complete the game in the order that they choose, furthering their immersive experience. Equally as important is our interpretation of self-determination theory. We grant players autonomy to go where and when they please. While the game directs players through the assistant, we always give players the option to leave a task early, even if it would be detrimental to the trial's outcome. This was done to reflect the serious nature of the game, as a real lawyer would surely lose a trial if he neglected to collect enough evidence. This brings us to the competence side of self-determination theory. While players have the ability to decide their own fate, they do so at their own peril. Players will need to think carefully about what choices they make, as making random or half-thought-out decisions could allow the chemical company, Hermetic, to get away scot-free. Real-life lawsuits against chemical companies that can hire the best lawyers in the world are an uphill battle, so the final judgment does not hold players' hands in this regard. While the game is designed to nudge players in the right direction, it is ultimately up to them to make the right choices. Finally, we wanted to give players purpose, as in the spam model. Players aren't just playing our game, they're learning how to solve real-world issues. Playtesting has revealed this much, as each playtester has reported that they learned something while also feeling stimulated and engaged through the game's interactivity. Playtesting found further proof of this, as the serious message was reportedly coming through across a wide demographic of playtesters. Our youngest playtester was 19, and our oldest was 51. However, all age groups engaged positively with the game, saying that they found it simultaneously educational and fun. Playtesting shows that the game has broad appeal, which our clients Greenpeace would love, seeing as they want to reach people of all ages in order to achieve the goals in their mission statement. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed our discussion about the final judgment. Check out the game for yourself on itch.io. Link is in the description.